Whenever you hear anyone saying, I don't trust people, I have trust issues, or I trust only a small circle of people, that is the reflection of themselves. That's how open they are with themselves. And they're not going to judge me because you're never going to be judged by somebody who's doing more than you. And I tend to go to people who know more than me, who are smarter than me, who can give me a different perspective, different than what I know, who's lived and seen more life than I have. Or that me asking for that which I want, that is the win. It's not whether or not that need is satisfied or whether the person responds in the way that I want them to respond, or in terms of sharing or in a work. True strength isn't opening your heart. So I just did an interview that I am very excited to share with you guys in a little bit, in a few days. However, there was a point that I want to bring here right now and share with you because it is such a big one and has been a transformational one for me. And that is the lone wolf mentality. I myself have been somebody who was so uncomfortable with, first of all, feeling the emotions with myself. But for most of my life, there was this, okay, there's this person that I trust, and then I would be open, sort of, to share things with them, or a mentor, or there was a very small circle, because deep down I felt not safe, because I felt like things could be used against me. And this didn't help growing up with a parent who was doing that, where I felt that perhaps that wasn't their intention, but I felt like whenever I was vulnerable, whenever I shared my truth, there would be a punishment or there would be some kind of consequence. So I didn't feel safe speaking my truth. I didn't feel safe being honest and vulnerable. So therefore, growing up in that kind of environment was generally created this feeling of not feeling safe to do that with others, whether it was with friends or fully opening in my intimate relationships, or in any and all relationships, really, beginning with myself, beginning with how open am I to admit my fears and my insecurities, and am I trying to put that beautiful mask of I've all got it together, we're gonna be okay, we're gonna push through this, or was I actually able to be comfortable with my emotions? Which one do you think it is? It wasn't the latter, it was the first one. And I can just see the contrast of having lived that way and then coming into working with my teachers who I work closely with now. When I first started with them, I was so uncomfortable. And then when they were doing group calls, I was like, I'm not speaking whatsoever. I remember the first time I spoke was, I really need help and that's why I'm going to speak, but I'm really not comfortable doing that. And now, contrast to that, a few years forward, I'm there in a group and just being so comfortable and going, no matter the emotions, like whether it's anger or the most vulnerable, like the hurt and those tears, and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to let it out now. I am so comfortable. And this really originates from a strong foundation. The foundation that, first of all, I don't buy into the emotion. I know that whatever emotion it is, if I'm not creating a story, it will pass through within seconds, maybe minutes at most. It will never go longer than 15 minutes if I fully let it out. If I make a story about it, it can last for months, days, years. But if I really fully experience, it's just energy and it's gone. And it means nothing the next day or the next hour. And that was one part of it. The second part of it was really that foundation of I've got me and I'm not dependent on other person's validations, or that me asking for that which I want, that is the win. It's not whether or not that need is satisfied or whether the person responds in the way that I want them to respond, or in terms of sharing or in a work. It's kind of like, well, what if they judge me? I don't care if they judge me. And if I'm working with the right person, they're not going to judge me because you're never going to be judged by somebody who's doing more than you. And I tend to go to people who know more than me, who are smarter than me, who can give me a different perspective, different than what I know, who's lived and seen more life than I have. And I could never possibly be judged by that person. And even if I am, that says more about them than it does about me. In fact, it says nothing about me because it's their judgment. And my win is in, am I willing to be open? Am I willing to speak my truth? No matter how it is received. Am I doing it in a responsible way? Is this me showing up as the best version of myself? As long as it's a yes, that's all that matters. Whether it's a one-on-one, whether it's in a group call, whether it's in a friendship, whether it's in an intimate relationship, whether it's within yourself. And that can be such a tough one, because oftentimes, like, but I have this anger and I feel this hurt and I'm not okay feeling that. And this comes from this place of, you shouldn't be angry. That's not how good kids behave. Or good kids don't yell and scream like that. Or, well, you have to be strong, so don't cry. And we learn to reject ourselves because with this, we got this kind of feedback to our natural emotions. So with this talk, I invite you guys to ask yourself, how open am I with myself? How trusting am I with myself? Because whenever you hear anyone saying, I don't trust people, I have trust issues, or I trust only a small circle of people, that is the reflection of themselves. That's how open they are with themselves. And if we hear people say something, or if we say things like, well, it was used against me in the past, or I'm afraid of speaking my truth because it's going to be used against me, that person is not standing in their truth. That person doesn't have the level of self-love to have that sturdiness, that foundation of, I'm good and I don't rely on outer validation because I matter, because I decide and I'm responsible for me. So where are you at with this from 1 to 10? 1 being, I am not trusting at all. The world is completely not safe. And 10 being, I am trusting and I'm open. And here's a thing that I fell into that I want you guys to not, a belief system that I hope that you don't believe in. And that is, trust is vulnerability and stupidity and weakness. And that's who I'm going to be if I trust. No. True power isn't opening your heart. True power isn't speaking your truth. You're not there believing whatever you hear. You're there trusting that I'm going to be good and I'm okay. And I'm going to be discerning because I know that foundation. I feel it, that rooting, that grounding, that centering that is always there and stable. It means I trust me and therefore I trust the world around me. I'm not scared of it because it can't hurt me. So let me know where you're at from 1 to 10. And as always, if this is something that you want further support with, if this is something that you are ready for, that you're ready to really live that best version of your life, not holding back, because you don't have to, DM me at The Powerful Self or on Instagram, or send me an email at info@thepowerfulself.me, and we can see how we can work together, and I would be honored to support you. And on this note, I am wishing you a very powerful day.